So
Don't get defensive.
I was just, there's more feedback than anything. Okay.
Hello everybody and welcome to the War Room. You'll have to excuse us, it's a bit of a random setup. There's no glove wall behind us. This is my collection of leaves instead. No, we're actually in California, obviously. Anaheim, looking forward to the fights this weekend. The Raptors have been on the road, they've been in New York. Check out all the stuff on the YouTube channel. There's loads of good stuff with John Danaher, Dylan Dennis on there, so make sure you get into that. So we're going to do 2 War Rooms for you today. The first one I'm going to do is Costa Romero. Please forgive any randomness because I'll show you the notes I'm working on. Is that in shot? Can you see that? So this is how my brain works when I'm on a flight for 10 hours. I have the videos on my iPad and I watch them and then I just keep scribbling, and it's like hieroglyphics. No one can understand what my writing says. Okay, Costa Romero. Let's set the stage. So Costa obviously undefeated. Not really, he's not, because he fought 3 rounds on The Ultimate Fighter, and although it's an exhibition fight, it's 3 rounds, 3 5-minute rounds. So in my head, I always count those fights. He lost a fight by decision because he ran out of gas. He gassed hard, and he's evolved a lot since then. He fights very different. He's still very aggressive, and I don't think that will change. I just think he's brought his condition up to support that, but that's something we've got to keep an eye on, especially because Yoel Romero, he's not a particularly fast starter. People have got this illusion that Yoel Romero is a fast starter, and he's not. He's a very slow starter. He likes to take his time. He has that slow rhythm that kind of hypnotizes you a little bit, and that's when you get hit with a jumping knee or something wild. He's very dangerous all the way through the fight, but he's not necessarily going to start fast. I'm not saying he won't this fight. He might see the value in it, but I think it'll be Costa that starts fast. I think he's going to try and push Romero back. He's still got that in his head, that undefeated confidence. So he fights like he's unbeatable. He fights like no one can hurt him. So he's going to take a lot of risks. He's going to push Romero back. He's probably going to try for a takedown. The one thing we have to say about that is that in comparison to Romero, his takedowns are elementary. I'm not saying he won't be able to take Romero down, because a lot of people have taken Yoel Romero down that probably wouldn't have been able to on the wrestling mat. But Romero's so confident in his wrestling ability, he's not bothered. They take him down, he gets back up. He's not necessarily thinking scorecards. He's thinking to try and knock the person out, and he's very, very dangerous. You know, when he can start to find his rhythm. Okay. The benefit in Costa being aggressive is that you force Romero to work early. So we might see him push Romero to a point of fatigue. But then again, Romero's done 5-5s in his last couple of fights. He's looked strong all the way through. He's been dangerous all the way through, as I said. So you've got to think his conditioning is going to be on point. If anyone's going to gas, I think it's going to be Costa, especially because he's going to be trying to finish. Dealing with the power and the strength of Romero is going to be a real test for his conditioning as well. And I think the grappling scrambles, if there are any, will be wild. What else have I got? So as far as striking goes, Costa does a couple of things that are really good. He throws this really powerful body kick. He's very confident with his body kick, particularly his right leg. He backs people up, he throws his body kick, and then he throws his hooks off them. It's usually a body kick to a left hook. The reason this is significant is because when Yoel Romero is blocking kicks, he has this bad habit of over accentuating these sweeps of his. If you go back to the Inside the Octagons on Yoel Romero and Robert Whittaker, you'll see that. I've pointed it out on there. He has this really kind of over-dramatized sweep, like he's parrying the kick out of the way. The downside to that is that because it's predictable and because his arm is already occupied trying to block the kick, if the kick's coming to his midsection, he's also going to be bringing his hand down, which will leave him exposed for a left hook from Costa. And if he's backed up against the fence, Costa will crack him with all of his power, and he has a lot of power. Patience, Yoel Romero, I've already talked about that. So will Costa be as aggressive? There's no reason not to be, as I said. I think he's going to push forward. I don't think he's going to see Yoel Romero as any real danger in comparison to anybody else he's fought. I mean, if you look at the guys he's fought, Oluwale Bambose, who's a very powerful puncher. He fought him with a lot of confidence, marched him down, was quite confident to trade punches with him. Takes punches quite happily as well. I mean, he's very muscular around his neck. I mean, this is where a fighter anatomy comes into play. His trapezius is really thick. He's very heavily muscled. Sternocleidomastoid muscles down the front side. They're all the muscles that are used to lock the head in when you're taking shots. So something to be aware of. The other thing you have to bear in mind, though, Yoel Romero doesn't have a neck. I mean, his traps start like right underneath his earlobes, and if you pay real close attention, this is how much of a nerd I am. Yoel Romero's got a scar down the back of his neck, which leads me to believe he's had a few of his vertebrae in his neck fused together. So to hit him clean, turn his chin, knock him out cold is going to be very difficult. Stunning him and knocking him down and then jumping on a submission is probably more where Costa's going to win the fight. The one thing we have to also think about, and this is the mentality of the fighter, Yoel Romero is, I should have checked this, I think he's 42, 43, certainly not getting younger anyway, he's not in his 30s, and he's just coming to a load of money, and that can change the mentality of a fighter. You know, he might not have his foot on the gas as much, he might have been frustrated with his last couple of Robert Whittaker fights. He was so close to winning the belt, and now he's fighting this up-and-comer, this 12-0 guy that's on a tear. You know, where's his motivation at? Obviously, he's a very, very talented athlete. He's a great wrestler, so he's got the ability to take this fight to the ground, I think, if he wants to. That's where he then deals with, you know, a very high-level black belt in Costa, who, if he gets on top, has also got wicked ground and pound. Okay, there you go. Enjoy the fights. Thank you. Check the other one out. I'm going to do Pettis Diaz right now.